Okay, good morning, friends. We're continuing Berura daf Hashavua. You know, when Hashem created the world on the 25th day of Elul, He created the world for who? For the tzaddik. For the tzaddik. Who's an example? You know, who could you think of that the Rebbe Hashem had in mind, that, you know, this is what he had in mind for? On the day before Hashem created the world, on the 24th day of Elul, when Hashem was thinking, you know, I should really create this world for the Adam HaSholem. The Chafetz Chaim, I think, in everyone's mind would be an example of that Adam HaSholem, that for whom Hashem said, Yehi Ar. And sure enough, the 24th day of Elul, the day before Brias HaOlam, is the yahrzeit of the Chafetz Chaim, the author of Mishna Berura. Okay, Siman Kuf Gimel Sif Beis. Siman Kuf Gimel Sif Beis. Bikesh Latzeis Men Ruach Melamata. Someone has an urge to pass gas, v'netztar harbe. He's distressed. V'enu yachal hamid atzma. He can't hold it in. So what should he do? Hoylech achoyrav arba amos. He should walk back 4 amos. Umoitzi haruach. Emit the gas. Umamtin. He should wait at sheyichla hareach until the smell dissipates. V'oimer ribain ha'elamim. Master of the universe. Yitzar tanu. You created us nekavim chalim chalim, with holes and holes and hollows and hollows. It is revealed in them before you our shame and embarrassment. We are ashamed in our life. We are worms and maggots in our death. You go back to your spot and you just continue where you're up to. Raise your hand if you've ever seen anyone do this. No, I didn't think so. Okay, why not? Some say, this is talking about when the guy davens in his house. But if he's davening in shul, where it would be quite a busha, in the middle of the silent Shemana essay, you see a guy walking back 8 feet, and he's making an announcement. If you're a betzibor, you don't have to walk back. V'gam lo yoyma hariba, and you don't have to say this whole nusach. Rak mamtin ad sheyichlo mimeno reach. He just waits until the smell dissipates. V'chei noya, again, that is the minhag. Says Mishna Berura, someone has an urge to pass gas and he can't hold it in. Otherwise, he has to hold it in. Otherwise, he's not allowed to pass gas. You're not allowed to, because you're oimei l'fnei hamelech. It would be very shameful to do it. Or at least, the Makar Chaim says, wait till the end of the bracha. Bal Teshaksu, there's no Bal Teshaksu on this. V'loi chayshin on the Bal Teshaksu, ela kishamash atzin l'liktanim ha'gedolim. That's only if you hold in urinating or defecating, or l'havacha loim, but not holding in passing gas. You're mechuyev to hold it in. If you can't, you're an oines, but you're mechuyev to hold it in. If you can't hold it in, you're mechuyev to move the tefillin out of their spot. You're not to pass gas with tefillin on. One is not allowed to do that. Second. Also, you don't have to move them out of their spot. Question. Do you need to move them out of their spot, or could you just loosen them? So Eish Avram Abuchach says if they're loose, they are not considered, it's not considered you're wearing them. The Beis Baruch says, even if they're loose, you're not allowed to pass gas in them. Wearing a talis, though, is not an issue. Okay. Achayrov, you take 4 steps back. You need to be facing, meaning why don't you step forward? Because you step forward, your back is to where you were davening. If you step back, you're facing where you davened. Laharois to show shirot sadan la'asot tefillah, you still want to go back to your tefillah. Va'afilu tzadin oilafan of aser, even to the side or in front of you, it would be aser. Va'oimer ribain ha'ilamim b'toichat tefillah. You say this bracha, this tefillah in the Shemana Esrei. Can you imagine if the guy's in the middle of Elam Al Shinim, and all of a sudden he adds a nusach, Ribain ha'olamim. Why? Anyway, he's interrupting because he passed gas. Therefore, he could interrupt and say this as well. The Emek Bracha explains, once he's already mufsak, he could be mafsik more. So the question is, well, if he could he answer Kaddish once he's at it? Well, anyway, he's waiting around there, and he's mufsik v'aymed. It's a very tough svara. Once he is interrupted anyway, he might as well say the Ribain ha'olamim. V'chayzer l'makom v'chayadam hiskim l'das ha'soivim d'yafs l'makom koidem haribain. The chayadam goes like the opinions that he should go back to his spot before the Ribain. I don't understand that. If you're going back to your spot before the Ribain, at that point, you're not interrupted anyway, because you could start the Shemona Esrei. If you're back in your spot, doesn't that mean that you could daven? So then, why would you say the Ribain? What?
It's like an apology. You're apologizing. I have to step out. Now come back. I'm apologizing. I have to leave.
Okay, so the thing is, that doesn't fit with the lamdas he said in the previous Sivkatan, that the reason you say the Ribain is since you're interrupted anyway, so there's no problem in being mafsik to say the Ribain. Anyway, you're waiting around, but I'm not waiting around anymore. I already took my 3 seconds, meaning according to the Achronim, that I do it where I was. Anyway, I'm stuck there because I'm waiting for the smell to dissipate, or I'm waiting. Or is the lumdus not I'm waiting anyway? The lumdus is since I already interrupted, so I can interrupt more. Meaning, maybe that's the shaila. Here, the question is, when do you say the Ribain? L'chayr, you have to wait until Ashiyach lahareach. So at that point, why don't you start the Shemona Esrei? The answer is, once I interrupted, I can interrupt more. So the Chayadam says, okay, go back to your spot first. When it says you go back to where you're up to, doesn't mean mamish the word. L'chayr means the beginning of the bracha. Kaman Siman Kuf Dalet Sifhei Vayin Lekaman Rashi Gesavnu Sham L'Halacha B'Shem Achreinim. Look later on what I wrote there. L'Halacha, the name of the Achreinim. V'ayin Le'el Siman Pehei. What did we learn before in Siman Pehei? Ratzom Din Isbar Sham Dimshak Kidei Ligmar Skula Chayz L'Raish. That if you delay the amount of time it takes to say the whole thing, you go back to the beginning. So yeah, you have to make sure that this interruption is not a long interruption, that the amount of time that it would take to say the whole thing. Says the Bach, because of Abach, the Davkim Hashahia Haya Al Yidei Hoyitushim V'Reach Hanoidev Flavad. The delay has to be through the passing of gas and the smell. But we don't add to that the amount of time it takes to step back and forward. Sivkatan Tes. In a shul, which would be a great embarrassment, you don't have to walk back, and you don't have to say the Ribain. But the Mishna says, "V'tov shehar b'liba," you should think the Ribain. What about to move your tefillin in the shul? It's embarrassing. Too bad. You still can't do it in the tefillin, so you got to move it. Sif Gimel, Hamas Atesh b'tfilasei milmata simin ralai milmala simin yafalai. One who passes gas in his tefillah, it's a bad sign. If you sneeze, it's a good sign. Hamas Atesh, one who passes gas. Some say that's only if the passing of gas makes a noise. That's really a bad sign. The Magen Avraham says even if it's silent. But you would still have to distance. The question is, according to the opinion that it's only if it's out loud it's a bad sign, do they hold that's only sneezing out loud? There are two kinds of guys. One guy, he sneezes he holds it in. You don't even know. You're like wondering, what did he just do? And some guy, when they sneeze, you're not sure if it was a sneeze or if you have to make the bracha shekoicha gvurasei malei olam. So is the din that it's a good siman by a sneeze? What's the pshat that a sneeze is a good siman? The reason is because a sneeze feels good. You get relief. There are very few pleasures in life as good as a good sneeze. So it's a good sign. But the louder the sneeze, the more geshmak it is. If you're holding it in, it's silent. It's not as geshmak. If you came here today just to learn that, it was kedai.
In allergy season, when people are sneezing, it's the same thing, or it's like a random sneeze from nowhere?
Well, it's like all these things, all these simanim, like on Yom Kippur, where something's a good or a bad sign, it has to be without a siba tivis l'chayra.
Is the hafacha only when there's a bad smell?
L'chayra not.
Even if not, right?
L'chayra not, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll hold it here, okay? Have a good Shabbos, everyone. We'll see about next week. We'll do Monday, Be'ezras Hashem. Tuesday. We'll see Wednesday. Okay, we'll see if it's shaykh. Have a good Shabbos, everyone. Bracha v'atzlacha. Kol tov. Be well. Kol tov.